You have one pretty big recommendation this week, and I think a lot of people can access it.
Yeah, Netflix has got a movie that just came out, I think, last Friday. By a week, it's been be out about a week by the time you probably hear this, and that's Nyad, directed by Jimmy Chin and Elizabeth Chai Vasarhelyi. I hope Vasarhelyi, and at least Jimmy Chin. I'm not sure if they're both, but Jimmy Chin is behind like Meru and Free Solo and The Rescue. So you think, I mean, immediately, oh, this is going to be, because it's based on a true story, you think it's going to be a documentary, and it's not. It's a fictional account of a true story with a few little documentary pieces dropped in, especially at the end, that kind of thing where you see a picture and at the end you see the actual footage. It definitely has some of that, which is, for me, always nice. The basic story of Nyad is it's the story of Diana Nyad, played by Annette Bening, Bonnie, which is like her longtime best friend. And you might see it and think like they're dating or they're married, a couple. But really, it's like they dated like one time, like, 20 years ago, and they've been like best friends ever since, basically that kind of a thing. They don't date each other. And that's played by Jodie Foster. Bonnie is. The other main name that I saw in this was the Reese Ifans. He plays kind of this crusty old navigator in the Gulf area, and he's the guy from Notting Hill. Spike from Notting Hill, if you remember. And now he's like this, he almost looks like this crusty old sea captain in this movie. So what Nyad is you basically have the story of Diana Nyad. And if you don't know that, she was a real person. She is a real person. I think she's still alive.
It says here she co-wrote it.
Yeah,
or,
I believe
no,
that.
based on her book. Never mind.
Yeah. And basically the idea is she's this a long distance like marathon swimmer, and she got a lot of acclaim in her 20s for doing all these crazy long distance swims. And her final long distance swim she wanted to do when she was 28 is she wanted to do something no one had ever done, and that is nonstop swim from Cuba to Florida, which is just this crazy like 50 something hour swim through shark infested waters and all this other, just the elements and everything, right? And she failed when she was 28. And this movie comes back in when she's about 61. And in real life, this is her real story. At 61, she kind of felt like, she wasn't doing anything and she didn't ever achieve this goal. And she decides she's going to now, at 60 plus years old, going to complete this thing that no one has ever done still. When she's 61, no one has ever completed this swim from Cuba to Florida. It's a pretty fascinating movie. So it's fascinating on two fronts. On the one front, it's fascinating just as a story, just as this like feat, this physical feat. Like, how is this 60, something year old person going to do this thing she couldn't do when she was 28? What the heck? And the other part that's really great is that they really have a really well told character study of both her and Bonnie, her best friend, by two great actors, obviously. You've got two kind of powerhouse known actors. But what's really great about it is Diana Nyad is not presented as this great, wonderful, easy to love person. And really early on, you have this early scene before she's even decided to do this. And it's her and Bonnie at some party. It's her birthday party. I think she had just turned 60 or 61. Bonnie is obviously trying to kind of like hook her up with some interesting woman at the party. And she says, go over and talk to her, go over and talk to her. And Bonnie says to Diana, just don't talk about yourself. And then, of course, smash cut. Diana just only talks about herself and how awesome she is. She has quite an ego. She thinks she's quite a lot. So they let her be like that and really rubs people the wrong way. And she really has those kind of characteristics you see in a lot of these extreme sports people that have bugged us in some of the other movies, right? It's a really great told story. It's a fantastic adventure. It's amazing to figure out how she does or doesn't actually achieve this feat. And just as a character study, it's great too. So I'd say check it out.
A little break out the tissues towards the end, maybe a little heartwarming, that kind of thing, or no? That's
she's
more of
not a heartwarming kind of character.
I mean, the circumstances, what she achieves.
I think it's definitely it works on that front of like, how in the heck can someone surmount insurmountable odds? It's that kind of a movie, of course. But how do you do that and like a character who's not very likable? So there's kind of a double-edged sword there. But it's definitely fascinating and a lot of fun to watch.
Is this because you mentioned the thing that she's trying to swim from Cuba to Florida? I'm guessing you could Google that to figure out if she did it or not. Is this kind of like a million miles away, where like whether or not the ending,
definitely the journey,
whether or not she makes it is irrelevant.
It isn't irrelevant, but it's the how she does or doesn't make it. And what I'll tell you is that fascinated me, and I'll just kind of give this to you so it'll give you a clue. She's ready to make her attempt, at 61 or whatever it is, at about the 25-minute mark of this movie, and I'm like, what are they going to do for the other hour and 20 minutes or whatever? So let's just say
it'd be like if in A Million Miles Away he made it to space like within the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
so
now what?
She's on the launch pad about 25 minutes into this, and I'm like, what the heck are they going to do with the rest of this movie? And then I discovered, I was like, oh, okay, this is really catching my interest. Yeah.
Okay, so
Good
that is
movie.
Nyad, great acting and just great
Oh,
story.
yeah.
Currently,
Yep.
currently on Netflix. So you guys tell us what you think of Nyad. We're ending the show with another movie from the box. What's in the bleeping box?
Hey, Bruce, real quick, what did he give Nyad? Also, what's in the box?
I apologize. Yes.
Nyad, you know what? I'm going to give it 4.5.
Thank you, Eric Holmes.
All right.
And this is a great movie to like watch with anybody. That's definitely one of those anybody kind of movies, like mom, dad. You can probably enjoy that movie. It's just a good human adventure / human character story. All right, what do we got?
What you got, Bruce?
I have Bob Le Flambeur, suggested
What did you call me? What did you say?
Nicholas Harvard, which you could probably remember. I don't remember who Nicholas Harvard is, but Nicholas Harvard is a director, filmmaker, actor.
I forgot what movie he directed, but yes, Bob Le Flambeur. It is directed. I think Bob Le Flambeur is a movie directed by. Oh, what is the name of that guy? I'm just blanking out.
He did the French.
Right. Oh, thank you, Bruce. Jean-Pierre Melville.
There
Bob
you go.
Lefenborg. Yeah. Yes.
French.
Yes. We're going to get more listens over in France. Okay. So I'm going to call France just to win over some of the denizens over there. So thank you guys so much for listening to CinemAddicts episode 215.